5, 4, 3, 2, showtime. Welcome to the Empower You radio show.
I just want to help.
Where we empower you through education.
You will believe in yourself.
Eric Gann exposes you to the evidence-based truth with balanced clinical practice behind all things leadership, mindset, health, nutrition, and the healthcare profession of athletic training.
Today is about the power of you.
Here's your host, Eric Gann.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening and welcome back to the Empower You radio show. Today, I'm going to take some time to discuss 5 highlights of training based off time, or we could call it circuit training. In my opinion, I feel training based off time and circuit training does not get enough credit. What am I talking about here? It's interval training and training / rehabbing in a circuit format. Today, I will work through 5 highlights of training based off time and circuit training. Please note, I feel both rehab and advanced exercise is considered training. Rehab is only regressions of the fundamentals. Hence, why I say these highlights can be applied to rehab. There is also an essential component of exercise selection and order of exercises that becomes very important when training based off time and performing circuit training. This could be where the bad programs come into play. There have been many times I have attended a group class and found the intervals were just plain no bueno. And yes, I do attend group exercise classes. I like to train with groups of people and also expose myself to different things. It helps keep my mind fresh and to connect with people. So let me give you an example of no bueno when it comes to interval and circuit training. The interval work is set to maybe 45 seconds, and then the interval of rest is set to 20 seconds, or sometimes I've even seen 15 seconds. And the exercise selection might go like this: 45 seconds of push-ups with 15 seconds of rest, then going into 45 seconds of skull crushers or tricep extensions, and then 15 seconds of rest, and continuing to repeat it back and forth, back and forth. Here, in this interval, with these movements and or exercises, we have just crushed our triceps with push-ups, and then decided to crush them again with skull crushers or tricep extensions? Seriously, no bueno. This is an example of a far too often mistake and misuse of intervals and circuit training. There are a few areas of the examples given where things just fall short, and honestly leads people to just not wanting to come back or even overtraining. First off, these are 2 upper body pushing movements. The push-up targets many muscles, and one of them is the triceps. And then to follow it up with another isolated tricep movement just puts too much strain and use in the triceps area. Second is timing. 45 seconds is a bit too long for an exercise like the push-up. If we're doing a, say, kettlebell clean to press, it might be okay. But for push-ups, this is too long. And then 45 seconds of tricep extensions? Isolated exercise for 45 seconds? Again, too long. Third, the 45 seconds of work and the 15 seconds of rest is a bit off when looking to interval train as well. I will get into a better interval range as I hit the 5 highlights of circuit training and interval training. Okay, let's get into my highlights of training based off time. The first highlight is the ability to gain lean muscle mass. You can set the time for short work intervals and longer rest intervals. It depends on your goals, but with this work to rest ratio, you will work to build some muscle mass. An example of this would be having a work interval of 15 seconds and a rest interval of maybe 45 seconds or even 30 seconds as you become more fit and strong. The 15 seconds will allow for less reps and therefore more weight can be added to the movement in the interval. With days like this, I like to start on the light side and then work my way up as I progress through the rounds to a heavier load. This allows me to at least hit 5 reps in the 15-second work interval. So there you have it. My rep goal is 5 for each 15-second interval of work, no matter the movement. Okay, number 2 highlight is shredding body fat. Set the timer to have 2 longer work intervals with 1 a weighted movement, then 1 with a body weight movement, then rest. This will shred off the fat. This is where interval training can go wrong quick though. Let me give you a great example of building back-to-back movements that would work well in this type of training and situation. I tend to like 1-minute work intervals on this, and we'll put 2 movements back-to-back with a solid 1-minute rest before moving into the next set of back-to-back movements or exercises. Here's what I mean. I'll program a goblet squat or even a body weight squat for beginners, and then follow that up with mountain climbers. See, here we have a weighted squat for 1 minute, which will get the heart rate bumping, and then you drop down into a mountain climber and keep those legs pumping for another 1 minute. Then rest for 1 minute and move into the next back-to-back shredder. I'll give you another example. And if you follow my account on Instagram at eric.gan.atc, you all know I love the rear foot elevated split squat. So you can do that exercise weighted for 1 minute, then follow that up with 1 minute of jumping jacks, classic jumping jacks. Give yourself a minute rest, then hit the other leg on a rear foot elevated split squat, and then this time when you finish, hit it up with some running in place for 1 minute, then rest for 1 minute, and then do it over again. There you have it. Man, I've almost given you a little fat shredder today in this podcast. You see, with fat loss training, or I sometimes call a strength and cardio day session, you really have to dial in the exercise order and the movements you are performing or programming to maximize results and success. Okay, number 3 highlight is train efficiently and effectively. Keep moving. Work and rest intervals set on a timer keep you moving and you get done quicker. We can train the full body in one quick, effective, and efficient training session. This comes through really great program design. What do I mean by this? Okay, let me give you a little walkthrough, and I'm going to run through this, and here's another great little training session that you might want to try out. Okay, I may program right side half kneeling overhead press, then rest. Left side half kneeling overhead press, then rest. Right side single leg hip bridge, then rest. Left leg single leg hip bridge, then rest. Right side 3-point row, rest. Left side 3-point row, rest. Right side rear foot elevated split squat, rest. Left side rear foot elevated split squat, rest. Right side chest press, rest. Left side chest press, rest. And repeat. You see here, I've just designed a workout that hits all of the major areas, but we are moving along and hitting them in a certain order. This allows you to keep moving, training, working, while another area of the body part gets some rest. This gets you some serious bang for your buck. But remember, the timing is everything on this. This sequence could be 15-second work intervals to 30-second rest if you're looking to move heavier weight around. Or it could be 30 seconds of work to 1 minute of rest for some higher rep ranges and building training tolerance to work for longer periods of time. All right, let's keep it moving. On to number 4, building up conditioning. As you progress, you can set your rest periods shorter. Then you're moving quicker and getting in some conditioning with the weighted intervals you are training. This takes time off of the Stairmaster and the treadmill and some boring cardio. One thing to watch out for, I don't ever recommend the rest intervals be shorter than the work intervals. Kind of like the example I talked about in the beginning of the show, the wonderful 45 seconds of work and the 15 seconds of rest. This is just a no bueno, like I mentioned. As you become more advanced, if you are doing 15 seconds of work, don't let the rest drop below 15 seconds. I'd also like to add, if you're dropping the rest to be right close up to the same type of interval, meaning 15 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, all right, go up in weights, okay? Because 15-second recovery just shows that you're not training hard enough or your fitness is increased and you're ready to move up. So like I said, this is a great indication you have progressed in your training and it's time to kick it up a notch. All right, finally, number 5. We can manage stress, meaning training stress, what's happening in that day, and just the stress of working out. It's a plan. You just follow the plan. You follow the circuit. Bang, you're done. It makes training less stressful. You pick out the movements you want to train, pick a weight, and go. Just keep moving and focusing on great movement patterns and finishing each rep in each interval. Less stress because you set out a plan and you followed it. Also, don't stress too much from week to week on the weights. Just move with what makes you feel good. There will be weeks where I totally drop down in weights I am using just because I'm not feeling it. I back off and listen to my body. But then, when I do that and I listen to my body, then there are weeks where, man, it's flowing and I'm pushing it and really getting after it. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I just had a week like this with get-ups, rear foot elevated split squats with some overhead half kneeling pressing, and also I just banged out the ability to do 5 standing ab wheel rollouts. So this is okay. This is training. This is life. Just follow your plan. Use the weights that make you feel good and crush the training session. Okay, those are 5 highlights that I like to walk through. Now, on to some bonus info. I feel that circuit training and training based off time all help to build very good tissue load, tolerance, and capacity. What am I talking about here? Load, this refers to any internal or external force produced on a muscle at any single point or a continuous points in time. Tolerance is defined as the ability of the skin and its supporting structures to endure the effects of pressure without adverse effects, meaning no injuries. Capacity refers to a tissue's ability to express tissue load through exercise, movement, or posture. So those are 3 wonderful areas that we are always working on and building up on and increasing the ability to manage load, tolerance, and capacity. And all of those 3 things combined can be really well designed into a circuit training and interval training program. And it will also reduce the risk of injuries. Another side effect is that it will also prepare you for things in life. So say you're performing 30 seconds on one day and then your 1-minute intervals on another day and then your 15 seconds on another day. This all prepares us for different segments of things that can happen in our life. We tend to do things in 15-second bursts or 1-minute bursts or 30-second bursts. And I feel that this type of training really prepares you for that type of activity or activities of daily living. Another great example is when you follow a training program like this, you might even develop the ability to go for long endurance hikes. This past year when my wife and I were in Hawaii, We did some outstanding hikes, and I had never done any hiking to prepare for these hikes. We also did some great uphill runs through the switchback to the house on our house that we stayed at on the side of a mountain in Hawaii. I didn't do any preparing, I didn't do any running, I didn't do any hiking. What I was doing was some really great, properly programmed interval training and circuit training. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode on my highlights of interval and circuit training. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you can take some of the info in this show and apply it to your training. Because the mission of Empower You Radio is to empower you through education. One last thing, don't go away too quick. Are you interested in a program that will help accomplish the goals of burning fat while building muscle in a circuit program? Are you also interested in learning how to combine movements to create the fat loss shred in a circuit? You can find the link to my signature circuit shred in the show notes. The circuit shred is based upon a circuit program I wrote for myself and many of my clients to get stronger, leaner, and move better. As a result of the circuit shred program, I personally gained 2.2 pounds of muscle and lost 2% body fat in 8 weeks. This was all measured via an in-body body composition analyzer. My goal was to increase lean body mass, shred some body fat, and improve muscle definition, and it happened through this badass program. Give it a go. It's the one I just described before I went to Hawaii. It will not disappoint. Again, the link to purchase my circuit shred is in the show notes. You've been listening to the Empower You Radio Show with Eric Gann. We are empowering you through education. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us at empoweryouonlinecoaching.com and also follow us on Facebook at Empower You Online Coaching. Finally, go follow our Instagram account at EmpowerYou_radio show for all the latest updates on fresh new episodes. Thanks, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you back on Monday for a fresh new episode of Mindset Monday.